Hey everybody, welcome to the Whispers from the Orchard podcast. I'm Silas.
I'm Berlice. Today we're going to be covering Ángel Reséndiz. Reséndiz was a ruthless serial killer who made the FBI's top 10 most wanted list in the summer of 1999. He left a trail of bodies as he traveled across the United States on freight trains, using the steel rails to slip in and out of towns and cities unnoticed.
Resendiz's crimes always occurred near railroad tracks and rail yards, earning him the nickname the Railroad Killer. Although he didn't come to the public's attention until 1999, by that time, Reséndiz had been murdering people for over a decade.
Reséndiz was born in Mexico August 1st, 1959. He had a childhood filled with physical abuse, ran away from home at a young age, and took to living on the street. At 16, Reséndiz started a pattern that he would continue to follow for his entire adult life. He would enter the U.S. illegally, serve time in U.S. prisons for crimes such as assault and car theft, be deported back to Mexico, and then re-enter the U.S. again. Before he made national headlines as the Railroad Killer, Reséndiz spent a combined total of 11 years in prison in Florida, New Mexico, Missouri, and California.
Reséndiz was a superstitious man, and he killed his victims for a number of different reasons. The first known murders Reséndiz committed were the 1986 double homicide of a homeless couple in San Antonio, Texas. He later told investigators he killed the man because he was involved in black magic. In July 1991, he killed a man in San Antonio because he was a homosexual. When he was not serving time in prison, Reséndiz roamed the country by stowing away on freight trains.
In 1997, he killed 4 people in Florida, Kentucky, and California, all near railroad tracks. In the Kentucky case, 21-year-old University of Kentucky student Christopher Meyer and his girlfriend were walking along a set of railroad tracks when Reséndiz attacked them. Meyer died after Reséndiz bludgeoned him with a 52-pound rock. Jesus.
That's an oddly specific... Did they weigh the rock?
Maybe. 52-pound rock. But his girlfriend, Holly Dunn Pendleton, survived being raped and beaten. Pendleton is the only known survivor of an attack by Reséndiz.
The Railroad Killer committed 2 more murders in 1998, both in Texas. It was Resendiz's brutal killing of the 39-year-old Dr. Claudia Benton in Houston in December 1998 that allowed police to tie him to a homicide for the first time. Benton's stolen Jeep was found in San Antonio with Resendiz's fingerprints on the steering wheel. Police now had a suspect, but due to his wandering nature, Reséndiz was nowhere to be found.
In 1999, the Railroad Killer continued his deadly spree. He committed 6 more murders in the span of 6 weeks in Texas and Illinois. He followed his previous MO, finding victims close to the railroad tracks and bludgeoning them with heavy objects such as sledgehammers and pickaxes. Reséndiz even killed 2 totally unrelated victims in one night, stealing his first victim's car and driving to Schulenburg, Texas, to kill his second.
On June 15, 1999, Reséndiz claimed his final 2 victims in Gorham, Illinois, an 80-year-old man and his 52-year-old daughter. They were found dead in their mobile home next to a rail line, and investigators once again found Reséndiz's how is it said? Resendiz's fingerprints at the scene. Less than a week later, the FBI added Reséndiz to its top 10 most wanted list. By this time, there was a nationwide hunt for the Railroad Killer. People who lived near railroad tracks kept their doors and windows locked shut.
That's insane. Because, you imagine how traumatizing that must be?
Yeah.
Okay. Police eventually tracked down Reséndiz's sister, Manuela, who agreed to help them find her brother. On July 13th, 1999, Manuela, accompanied by a Texas Ranger, met Reséndiz on a bridge connecting El Paso, Texas, and Juarez, Mexico. Reséndiz surrendered. The railroad killer's rampage was over. He stood trial and was sentenced to death for the murder of Claudia Benton. On June 27, 2006, Reséndiz was executed in Huntsville, Texas, and the book was finally closed on a horrific story that drastically changed lives all around the country. Honestly, this has to be low-key traumatizing.
Low-key, high-key.
High-key traumatizing, because a lot of the time, I guess back in the day, the railroad tracks were like the hangout spot. Even now, a lot of the time, there's like teenagers and stuff hanging out around the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Abandoned ones, even ones that aren't abandoned, but like, so that's scary.
That's it for this week's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment down below some suggestions that you would want us to cover. We'll see you next week. Bye.